Hi, chat.
An environmentalist typically looks like an older white guy with glasses and crazy hair out in the woods by himself looking at wildlife. So someone who lives in the city can't be an environmentalist. Someone who grew up poor can't be an environmentalist. Someone who's a minority can't be an environmentalist. So there was not a lot of green space at all in Philadelphia where I grew up, but there was a side of my house. So there was, my house was made of brick, and on the side of my house there would be slugs. And I would always go to the same spot every day to look at the slugs. And that's all the wildlife that I could identify and recognize, in a 3-block radius, but I would go outside and check on the slugs every day. And that was kind of like my one piece of nature that I could reliably go back to and monitor and, watch changes and, watch populations grow and shrink based on temperature, based on time of day, based on weather. I had never been to the zoo in my life before I was 18. And so I did an internship in education at the zoo, and I realized how ridiculously passionate I was. And I didn't know that until I was taught. So I went to college, and I was a zoo and wildlife biology major at Malone University. I had never seen a blue jay until I took ornithology in college, and that's a common bird. And now they're my favorite bird here in North America.
We have the turkey vulture like Fester, and the black vulture, which is a little bit smaller, has a characteristic black head. But Fester is going to be doing some flight, so I'm going to ask that everyone in the audience stay nice and seated as he flies around. These are very large birds. They can have wingspans up to around 5.5 to 6 feet wide, and very broad wings as well, and that allows them to soar. And so they'll be soaring high in the sky, smelling for their next meal, and they have a really strong sense of smell. As Fester flies over you, you'll notice he has what appears to be a very large hole in his face. So they are very well built for being the garbage birds of our local environment. So let's go ahead and give it up for Fester and vultures everywhere. Thank you so much, Fester.
All right, Wilbur, where you at? Just you. Hi, bud. Okay. All right. So this, everyone, is Wilbur. Go ahead, Wilbur. He's a Palawan Binturong. And I'm going to have you come down here and be on this side of me.
Oh my gosh.
You come right out. These are, like I said, found in the rainforest of Asia. But when Wilbur is eating fruits and veggies that have seeds in them, as he's eating, as you can see, he's a pretty messy eater. As you found out, food is dropping out of his mouth when he eats.
It's amazing that we can worship God in different ways and see different things that God has created. So I challenge each and every one of you all, get out to nature, go out and see some different things. There's some awesome things in the world that you can see, not just in Tennessee, but just in the whole wide world. Amen.
Hello. Hey chat. Hi, hello. Podcast day. Hooray. Giddy, thank you for the sub. How did we get to $125? What did I miss? Killer? Okay. Hold on. The donations in my alert list wasn't going through for some reason. They just all came through. Killer with the 2 months. Welsh Nerd with the year. Thank you, Welsh. You're a bird now. Solorion with $25. Botox with $100. Botox, you're insane. Thank you so much. And Giddy with the 13 months. Holy crap, Giddy. That's a long time. Okay. $125. Amazing. So we're talking to Corina Newsome today. She is one of my favorite science communicators on the internet that I follow on the internet. She is insanely enthusiastic. You have a fan on? No. But Protech, thank you for the year. Miz said that yesterday. When we were on a Discord call, that there was like the window's not open. No, nothing's different. You can hear cars, but nothing's different. The gain is high. I haven't changed anything. I mean, is this better? Darwin with 3 months. Thank you so much. Wes with $50. Change stuff? I didn't change anything, Locke. Wes, thank you for the $50. Okay. How did you find out about Corina? I actually am not sure. I mean, it was through Twitter for sure. But I think that she was pointed out to me. I know she was pointed out to me by Imogene for sure, and by Ellie as well. So they know her. She's got a pretty decent following on Twitter. Her socials are really good. You can do command guest if you want to see her socials. And yeah, so we're going to be talking to her today. We're going to talk to her about her journey, her focus, as she was a zookeeper. Now she's a field biologist. She's studying seaside sparrows, and nest predation for seaside sparrows right now. So we'll talk to her a good bit about that and her, goal. What she does primarily is she hopes to involve communities that are underrepresented. It's because the mic is too close to the window. She hopes to involve communities that are underrepresented in wildlife sciences, to connect them to the natural world. So we're going to talk to Corina about that today. I'm super, super excited. The donations today are already at 175, which is insane, are going to Skype a Scientist, which is an organization that... What is that clicking sound? What's going on today? You can do command.org to see more about them. They match scientists with families, classrooms, events, groups of 5 or more, and help people to connect with scientists virtually, which is really, really cool. And Corina is on the board of directors for Skype a Scientist. So that's who we're raising money for today, but we will have her tell you more about it. Right now, I just have to call her. Put the mic away from the window. We already tried this. Is it actually distracting? It's fine. Okay, I'm sorry. Good news is you'll never have to worry about it again after today. So this is the last stream in California. After this podcast, I gotta pack and stuff and give my dogs baths and whatever. So that's after. Oh, also, side note for today. Next week for the podcast, we're switching to a bot for questions. This week, if you have questions, you can go ahead and @ ChuckManny20. Thank you, Chuck, for doing that today. Super, super helpful. So there's, like always, there's a live question doc, and I'll be looking at it and I'll read off questions if you guys have them. So @ Chuck if you have questions, and yeah, Chuck, people salute. And then next week, there will be a bot for questions, and hopefully we'll get that working okay. I'm not sure if there's going to be a quiz today. Rogue, thank you for the $5. That is how you donate. Thank you so much. I'm not sure if there's going to be a quiz today. I feel like there can be. I just have to write the questions on my own, and we'll see if I'm able to do that throughout the podcast, or if it's just going to be a longer wait for me to set it up. So, yeah. But let's assume, let's 80% assume that there will be a quiz. Okay? But I'll let you know, like, towards the end of the podcast if that's what we're gonna do. Cool? All right, cool. I'm gonna call Corina. She's Austin. Thank you for the 4 months. Thanks. She's a student at Georgia Southern. She's studying Seaside Sparrows and their predation. And she has a lot of cool stories. She has an insane amount of experience, an insane amount of awards. She's a super, super inspiring person. And I'm like... Sorry. I'm kind of a fangirl, so I'm pretty nervous, but I'm also excited to talk to her. Stanners, thank you for the 2 months. All right, let's call her. Hold on. Archimedes, thank you for the 12 months. Hey, no. Dude! You can't right now. Okay. I'll be back in a minute. Mav. Small Killer, thank you for the 3 months.
Hello? How's it going? Oh, is it not on? Let's see. There we go. Great.
Okay, let's see if this is working. Chat, how's the sound?
Sounds great.
Chat, does she sound okay to you guys also? Why does this happen? Oh, jeez. Okay, hold on one second. I've been having issues with this overlay for a little while. Okay. Cool. Alright. Well, actually, this doesn't work either. Okay, now we're fine. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you doing?
I'm really good, thank you. I was just telling my chat I'm so excited that you're on here, because I mentioned to you earlier that we've been trying to get her on the podcast. I look back in our Twitter DMs, and the first time I messaged you was in like September.
I know.
So
I know.
it's been
Taken so long.
forever. Yeah, but I'm super, super excited that you're here.
Yeah, me too.
Is the cursor, what's wrong? Chat, are we good? Is everything good on your end? You can hear everything, you can hear me, you can hear her. Okay, we're good. We're at $180 in donations already for Skype a Scientist.
Amazing. Thank you all so much. That means the world. Like, we literally ride on everyone's donations, so this means a whole lot. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I'm super, super excited. So if you wouldn't mind, let's start out, if you want to just introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about Skype a Scientist so they know where their donations are really going, because I gave a really short intro.
Yes, yeah. So my name is Corina Newsome, as Maya said, and I'm currently a graduate student at Georgia Southern University, and I study Seaside Sparrows, specifically looking at their nest predation, all for the kind of purpose of conservation for that species. My major is biology. I sit on the board of Skype a Scientist, which is a nonprofit organization that essentially works to get the general public connected with real scientists. Because right now, especially right now, actually, we're kind of in a state where a lot of the general public has been kind of like feeling distrust in science and in scientists, and science kind of feels like this black box a little bit, like that nobody knows what's going on. We were just supposed to trust these people, and the answer is, yeah, you're supposed to trust us. And so Skype a Scientist matches classrooms for grade school-aged kids with scientists. They do Skype a Scientist Live, which is open to the general public. Anyone can join in and ask questions of scientists. And we have all kinds of scientists. We don't just have wildlife biologists like myself. We also have people who work in computer science, artificial intelligence, and geology, and all kinds of different science careers. And so it's just a way for scientists and science to be much more accessible to the general public. And it's building trust between the public and scientists, which right now is so important. So your donations are going towards those efforts. And one of the really wonderful things about Skype a Scientist is that we're reaching classrooms that wouldn't necessarily be able to afford to pay a scientist to come and talk to their class. It's all free. No one has to pay. And so we're able to reach students and audiences that have kind of been blocked off because of their socioeconomic status from accessing these kinds of resources. So it's jumping over red tape and barriers that have existed for a long time. So they're an awesome organization.
That's so cool. Guys, thank you so much for the $180 so far. So sell or run with another $25. Thank you so much. You can do Command.org if you want to see Skype a Scientist. They have Twitter, Instagram, and you can look at their website as well. So let's talk about you a little bit. We watched an intro video. So did you grow up in Philadelphia?
Yes, born and raised in Philadelphia.
Okay,
yes.
And you've just always been interested in the natural world?
Yeah. Even though I had never really been to massive, green spaces or natural spaces, I always wanted all the books and all the National Geographic magazines that I could find to look at nature as closely as I could.
Yeah, that's so cool. One of the reasons that you're one of my favorite people on the whole Twitter science community platform is, I mean, you hear it all the time, is you're so enthusiastic. I love being outside, and I love birds especially, and I know you do too. But you make me more excited to go outside and more excited to learn about nature and stuff. You recently, I've liked your chickadee nest thing. Can you tell us about what you're doing or what you've been doing with that? It was so cute.
Yeah, so it's actually funny. The project was for brown-headed nuthatches, which is a climate-endangered bird species that lives down here in the southeast U.S., where I am right now. And so we had gotten this grant to, put 20 nest boxes out for brown-headed nuthatches. Well, no nuthatches nested in our boxes, but instead we had Carolina chickadees nest in our box. So it was kind of like a change of plans, but it was awesome nonetheless. And so I had a video camera in the nest that was recording the entire nest development, all the way from egg laying, starting with egg laying, all the way through hatching, nestling stage, and then fledging when the chicks leave the nest. And so we were able to kind of share what goes on in the secret lives of birds, and specifically Carolina chickadees, with the general public, because people usually don't get to watch what goes on inside of the nest, because birds are very secretive. Most birds are very secretive when it comes to where they place their nests, and so you don't really get to see that. But being able to watch these birds without being invasive or intrusive and see what it looks like for them to develop, and they develop fast. You know, they went from egg to full size, full like adult coloration in like a month, right? So that process is so quick.
Yeah.
And so being able to kind of see it for yourself kind of gives you a bigger appreciation for how many birds you see outside, and you think to yourself like, wow, all of these birds survived all of those vulnerable stages to get to where they are today. So very, very cool project.
That's awesome. XY with $20, Street with $20. Thank you guys so much. If you have questions, I said it in the intro, but you can at Chuck Manny20 if you have a question, and I'll read them out as we go. So have you always been into birds? You have experience with a bunch of animals because you were zookeeping before.
Yeah. Birds are actually fairly new. So I like I said, like I had like this general interest in wildlife, and I was always just like wanting to absorb as much information as I could about them, but birds were not any sort of like standout group to me. And when it comes to native birds, like I definitely knew nothing about native birds, and I really had no interest in native birds. Ooh, can you still see me?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, great. And so once I went to college, I majored in zoo and wildlife biology. That's what my undergrad degree is in, and one of the classes required for that degree is ornithology, study of birds. And I was actually dreading that class because it's a class based on like native birds, and the labs are, you know, I was going to school in Ohio, so the labs are in outdoor Ohio, like going out looking at birds. And I knew before I took the class that we were going to have to memorize like how to identify visually like 175 birds and learn how to identify them by ear, like 100 of those birds. And I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, that's super intimidating.
I was like, I don't even know any birds. So like I was not looking forward to it. But literally the first day of class, I fell in love. Because the teacher, and he was so passionate. And I think that's where I realized how infectious passion is, like genuine passion. And so he was just introducing us to like some of the common birds in Ohio. And the first one he talked about was a blue jay, right? Yeah. Which I've heard of, but I had never seen a blue jay, which is crazy.
That is
and
crazy,
I think I saw that in the video. Because blue jay, you know, and then when I learned what they were and what they sounded like, I'm like, they literally have been all around me in Ohio. And I did not know. So it just basically opened up. That's kind of where my joy and like desire to explore was birthed. And of course, my love for birds.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to say your name wrong. Khyrs, Khyrs, tipped $275 and said, "Love the cause. Thank you for your service." That's amazing. Thank you so much.
You're kidding.
No, we're at $520. That's insanely fast.
I feel like I'm going to cry.
You would be our first guest to cry. Chop with $10. Thank you so much. That's
because
amazing.
Here's the thing, really quick, because it's like when you're working, I'm literally tearing up. Because, all right, this is not supposed to happen.
Guys, it's so fast, we barely started.
I'm so sorry. Oh, you guys, I'm so sorry. Because, see, if I talk anymore about this, I feel like I'm going to start weeping. Because basically, right, it's like, when you're a nonprofit, right? Yeah. If you work in a nonprofit, you kind of know how this goes. But it's like everything you do, every staff you hire, every program you run, like costs money. But you're relying on people to like believe in your vision, you know. And that's the only reason why Skepta Scientist is able to do what we're doing. And Sarah McAnulty, who's like the founder of Skepta Scientist, she is a powerhouse woman. Yeah. And like I want everyone to know her. Like I'm so just like
she's the squid biologist, right?
Yeah. Okay. Squid biologist. Yeah. And so it's like being able to be a part of this mission and then see people like you guys like believing in it and like being willing to be so generous. Like even if this is your first time hearing about it, it blows me away and I'm so grateful. So anyways, I just had to say that. Sorry.
Thank you. No, that's wonderful. Thank you guys so much. So Chomp with $10 and Mac with a 5 and Arsic, thank you for the sub. Okay, so now I lost track of what we were saying. We were talking about birds and how you like birds out. How did you get into, or how did you choose Seaside Sparrows? Like, how'd you get into the project that you're working on right now?
Yeah, so I, believe it or not, so I started applying to grad school while I was working as a keeper, and I had actually never heard of Seaside Sparrows, because Seaside Sparrows are a coastal bird. They live on the coast of like North and South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, the subspecies that I'm studying, which is called the McGillivray Seaside Sparrow. And I had never lived or even really been to the coast before, so I had never heard of this bird. But the professor who's my current advisor now, I knew was doing the kind of research I wanted to do, research that's rooted in the conservation of birds. And so, I basically asked, like, hey, do you have funding for a graduate student? Are you interested in having me? Even though I had never heard of the bird, the mission was the same, conserving bird species. And so I really chose that bird because that was the bird that my advisor was studying and had projects for and money for. And like, I've loved every minute of it because, and one of the things I love about it actually is that they're a new bird to me. Like, I'd never seen or heard of this bird before I started studying it in its natural habitat. And so everything was brand new. And it's just like every turn, every time I go out in the field, it's something new is happening. I'm experiencing something I've never seen before. So it's been awesome.
For sure. A question that we like to ask people that have been studying in the field is, what does a typical field day look like for you?
So typically, my schedule revolves around the tides. So I need to go between high tides. If I go out into the marsh, which is where these birds live, they live in coastal marshes. If I go out in the marsh at high tide, I could drown because not because the water level is like up here, but because it's super muddy. And so I regularly, like when I'm out there, I will sink up to like my chest sometimes.
Jeez.
When I'm walking, like just out of nowhere, right?
Oh my God, that's so scary.
If there's even like a foot of water, that could be it, right? So you don't want to go out at high tide. Don't go out at high tide. But basically, I'll go out. I usually spend about 4 hours out there. And usually what I'm doing is I'm looking for nests. So I'm walking through the marsh grass, kind of in the areas where I know Seaside Sparrows tend to nest. And I'm looking through grass. And it's tough. And the way I usually describe it is like you're looking for a certain set of hay in a haystack. It's like their nests are made of marsh grass and they're really well camouflaged. So I'm walking around, I'm really relying on my ears because if I'm relying on my eyes, I'm going to miss those nests. But whenever you get near a nest, the parents start like chipping really loudly, and that's kind of your cue to let you know, okay, you are near a nest, start looking really intensely in this area. So a typical field day looks like me going around doing that for about 4 hours. But some days I'm kind of managing video cameras and camera traps. So the other part of my project, so I'm looking for Seaside Sparrow nests, but what I'm really trying to know is, or understand, is what is the pattern of nest predation? Is nest predation occurring in certain places more than others in their breeding habitat? And to do that, I have a bunch of camera traps all over the marsh.
Okay.
Camera traps are cameras that take a picture whenever something moves in front of it. And so I'm going out there, I'm kind of doing equipment maintenance, I'm downloading the pictures that have been taken, changing out batteries. I'm putting video cameras on nests themselves very much in the same way that I did for the Carolina chickadees. And the challenge with the marsh is that it's super, like I said, muddy, but it's also super hot because there's no like trees, it's just grass. So you're really exposed out there, and it's very salty. The marsh is not very friendly for like human beings, tall bipedal animals, but it's still a blast. And there's so many creatures out there. So even though it's physically taxing, it's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. A bunch of donations. So Gim with $14.23, Spoon with $20. Thank you, Spoon. Names Fox did 2 separate $5, so $10 total, and Stanners with $10. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Yeah, again, if you're just getting here, the donations today are going to Skype a Scientist, so you can do command org for that. If you have questions, you can @ Chuck Manny. A few questions that we've had so far. Tana with the $10. Thank you so much. Viz asked, what are your goals? That's a big question.
That is a really big question. Yeah. So I guess the overarching goal of mine is to create pathways for people who grew up like me, whether they are an ethnic minority in this country or if they are impoverished like I was growing up, and therefore don't have like the same kind of access to be introduced to the variety of outdoor careers, wildlife, natural science careers. I want to be able to create opportunities for students who are in my situation to get those exposures and learn about the options that they have, because I didn't know about anything until I was, like I said, until I was 18. I was planning on being a veterinarian because I thought that's what people who liked animals did.
Me too.
So yeah, you know what I mean? And that's obviously, of course, not true. And I'm so grateful that someone reached out to me and made me aware of that. Otherwise, I would be a veterinarian or like a vet tech or something now, which is a great career. But anyway, so my overarching goal, that's part one, is to basically introduce people who grew up like me to the field of natural sciences. But the other part is to involve communities of color in particular in conservation efforts. So kind of merging conservation with the general public, specifically focusing on communities of color. Because conservation, while you do have like professional conservation biologists who that's their 9-to-5 job, they're going out in the field, they collect data, they have degrees for this purpose. Conservation does require everyone's involvement, and it's really helpful when everyone's involved in some capacity, whether that's just being conscious of how you steward the resources where you are geographically, just like in your area. Educating other people about the ways in which they impact their environment, going out and exploring and appreciating your environment, and even for things like as important as citizen science, which is just everyday people who are not biologists by career, collecting data simply by going out and exploring, sharing that with researchers, which happens a lot in the bird world, and they're contributing to conservation just by exploring, and so there are a variety of there's like a variety of ways to connect communities with conservation and with these careers, and I want to participate in that effort.
Yeah, that's awesome. On our last podcast, it was for weedy sea dragons, and they have a program at the University of Technology at Sydney for citizen science, where they have divers, like recreational divers, if they find a sea dragon and send pictures, and it's a new one that they haven't studied, then it gets named after them.
No way.
Yeah, it's like cool.
That's
we learned a bunch. We learned a bunch about them last week. Phone with $20, Tito with $5, and Tana with another $5. So we hit our 600 a little bit ago. So we're at $630 almost, which is amazing. Thank you guys so much.
That's unbelievable.
And we've had a bunch of questions come in. We have Wob asked, how has the COVID-19 pandemic affected her fieldwork?
That's a good question. So typically, I had one field season last year. I had 2 total last year, and I have one starting now this year. Last year, I lived in basically like communal housing that's provided by the Department of Natural Resources, that a bunch of people who are doing wildlife research or wildlife management, they'll stay at these like large kind of communal housing areas so they can easily access their field sites. Well, now, like, I can't do that because we can't live in large groups and have all this exchange of germs and all this, right? So I have to do a really long commute, but my research itself has been able to continue, thankfully. So the only thing that's really happened is that I have to commute pretty far to my field site, but I'm still able to collect the data that I need.
That's great. Good. SMK, thank you for the $20. This is a fun question. I'm sorry, I always say your name wrong. Z asked, what do you think is the coolest bird adaptation? Like, out of all birds? There's so many cool ones.
That's tough. Okay. One of my favorites that always comes to my head when I think of cool bird adaptation. So if you're familiar with peregrine falcons, right?
Oh, yeah.
And this is actually a structure that a lot of birds have, but peregrine falcons have it. They have these tubercles in their nose that look like little projections in each nostril, right? I know you know about this. And peregrine falcons are the fastest animal on the planet. They move the fastest. And when they dive, they can hit really fast speeds, like 250 miles an hour, more have been clocked, faster. So they move really fast. So what I like to make people think about, if you've ever been driving in a car on the highway and you stuck your head out the window and you get suffocated by the air because of how fast it's moving and you can't really breathe too well, if you know that sensation, that's essentially what would happen to a peregrine falcon, but times much more than we've ever experienced if they did not have these structures in their nose that kind of break up the wind so that they can breathe and their lungs don't explode from being overpowered by air as they're diving after their prey. So that's one of my favorite adaptations in birds.
What was that called for? Tube.
I think they're called tubercles sometimes. There's several names for that. It might be. I believe it's tubercles.
I'm trying to write quiz questions, chat. We have a little quiz at the end of the podcast, and people that watch it or people that participate in it, if they win a gifted sub, or they can donate another $5. So I'm trying to write questions while you're talking.
Nice.
So let's see, a couple other, we also had Jason Ward on the podcast, and we talked about peregrine falcons with Jason. It's one of his biggest, or one of his favorite birds. Speaking of favorite birds, Noxus asked, what's your favorite bird of prey, if you have one? Also, do you have any good binocular recommendations?
Okay, great. So my favorite bird of prey. to say Harris Hawk.
Okay.
Harris Hawk.
Nice.
I love Harris Hawks. Like I've gone like hawking with Harris Hawks several times. They're not my hawks, but I've gone out on hunts with them, and I've also trained Harris Hawks for like free flight shows outside, things like that. And they remind me, and not to compare across species and things like that, but they're kind of like a dog in that they are very kind of quick to pick up on and trust people, like when you're training them. Like I've gained the trust of Harris Hawks much more quickly than I've gained the trust of any bird. And I can literally walk around. We would walk around the zoo with Harris Hawks. He would just follow us. You know what I mean? Flying around. He just stay with us. And one of the coolest behavioral adaptations that they have is that they hunt in packs. They hunt in groups of birds, which is not typical of birds of prey. They're pretty solitary when it comes to catching food. But Harris Hawks will hunt in groups of 5, 6 birds sometimes. And on top of that, they're matriarchal. So there's like an alpha female who's at the very top, and she's kind of the one that leads the hunt. And everyone else kind of following her direction, following her lead. And so they're a very cool bird socially and behaviorally, and that makes them my favorite. Now, when it comes to binoculars, I have a pair of Nikon Monarchs, which work really well for me. They are more on the expensive side. Depends on who you are, right? So they're expensive for me. They're like $300, but they work really well. They're waterproof. Like they're marsh-proof, which is why I have them, because I drop things in mud and water all the time. But there are cheaper ones if you are not at risk of like breaking your binoculars in mud or water. There are cheaper ones that work well too, like Bushnell. Like there's like $80 Bushnell binoculars that work really well. So Bushnell and Nikon are two really great brands.
Cool. Good question, Knox. Thank you. Stanners with another $10 said,
"Thank you.
Keep up the great work." Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's see, more bird question. Well, one of them, Michael, a while ago asked, do you just focus on birds?
Do I just focus on birds? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my research in grad school does just focus on birds. But my conservation interest, like once I graduate, because when you're in grad school, like you have like a single major project that you're doing, and it's a very specific question on a very specific group of living things if you're a biologist. But once I graduate, like I am interested in the conservation of all species, but like my focus is more like native conservation, native wildlife conservation in North America, where I am and where my community is, So my interests are very broad when it comes to groups of animals.
Cool. Okay, let's see if I have a good segue question. There's so many. Guys, thank you for asking good questions. If you have questions, you can at Chuck Manny 20. Bernie with $40.77. That got us to our $700 goal. Bernie, thank you so much. That's why it was 77 cents.
Unreal. This is unreal.
It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. I had no idea when I started streaming on Twitch that it was that there was so much opportunity for fundraising and education through the platform, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. XDom asked, "How do you identify birds by the sounds they make? Is there a total unique amount you can identify?" So, yeah. How do you identify bird by sound?
Okay. So the trick to identifying bird by sound is to like learn it out in the field, because you could try to like have a PowerPoint of like bird sounds and like pictures, but it's really hard to make that connection until you hear it out in the field and find the bird and it kind of like clicks. But the thing you're looking for is that bird species all have unique songs, right? So there are lots of tricks to kind of memorizing what bird makes what sound, but a lot of people use different mnemonics, right? So for example, a white-eyed vireo, which is a small songbird about this big, migratory, they make a sound that I'm not going to try to mimic, but the mnemonic that people use is "quick, get the beer, tick, quick, get the beer, tick," and it sounds like that. And so it's like, because I have like words, like human English words associated with sound, it's like I can call that very quickly. And it's tough when you're dealing with migratory birds and birds that only sing at one time of the year, breeding season. They usually use their song for that. But birds also make a variety of other sounds. The tricky part is when you get to mockingbirds. Mockingbirds make
for sure.
everyone's sounds.
And
so
like
you'll hear,
corvids.
like today I heard a mockingbird make scarlet tanager, northern cardinal, robin, and like some other mystery sound, like all like in the same like breath, basically. So you got to be very careful about being out by the.
Was it you that posted a video of crows barking or ravens
Yes!
barking?
It was a raven. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, ravens are really good at that.
They're so neat. Let's see. Okay. We have a couple questions about seaside sparrows. So Max asked, what is the main threat to seaside sparrows and what are their sources of competition?
Good question. So the main threat to seaside sparrows right now, depending on the subspecies, some of it has been habitat loss, like from human-induced habitat destruction, right? So like the last seaside sparrow, I think dusky seaside sparrow, which is in Florida, was like wiped out because they built like a Disneyland or something like that. But the kind of larger looming threat that they're facing is actually sea level rise. And so the unique situation that the species that I'm studying is facing is that they're facing sea level rise, and sea level rise, makes the sea level higher and higher incrementally because of like melting glaciers, things like that. And the result is that the high tides, so again, I told you they live in a tidal environment, the high tides on average start getting higher, and that can result in nest flooding. So seaside sparrows are, they can experience nest flooding even before the sea level rise scenario that we're kind of anticipating right now. And they are actually behaviorally adapted to respond to sea level rise, to flooding. So if a seaside sparrow has built a nest and they have eggs or chicks in that nest, if their offspring drown, unfortunately, they will build another nest right away, but they'll build it higher off the ground as to avoid flooding again, right? However, the problem is that the higher you build your nest in the grass, the higher you build it off the ground, the more visible you are to predators.
Yeah.
So sea level rise presents a situation that kind of puts seaside sparrows between a rock and a hard place when it comes to, okay, what do you do? They're kind of constrained in their ability to respond to sea level rise because if they nest higher, there's a point at which they will get eaten if they nest too high. So that's kind of what the threats they're facing kind of look like right now. And the competition-wise, the one bird in their habitat that they share a habitat with that is like fiercely competitive is this tiny bird. It's like less than half the size of a seaside sparrow. It's called a marsh wren. These birds are ferocious. Do you hear me? So they build these nests that are like really secure, like completely covered with like a little hole in it for entry and exit. And they're fierce. Like they will literally fly over to a seaside sparrow nest. And I had this on camera. Fly over to a seaside sparrow nest, peck holes in all the eggs and fly off.
Why?
Like, they eliminate competition around them.
Oh my gosh.
They don't want anybody in their territory. They're fiercely territorial. And so that is probably the biggest competitor that seaside sparrows face as far as like other animals go in their natural habitat.
That's horrible. Jeez.
It's like upsetting. It's like totally natural, obviously, and like that's the adaptation they've evolved to have, but it's like it's frustrating to see it happen.
Yeah, no kidding. Are those wrens native?
Yeah, yes
Okay.
they are. So you can't even be like that's an invasive species.
I know, damn it.
Yeah.
Okay. So one question here is from Dom, said, do you think we can bring back the dusky seaside sparrow? Thoughts on de-extinction?
That's a good question. So bringing back species would require, so there's that field of like de-extinction is massive. So on the like more easy side, you have a situation where if you have that species in human care, like usually in a zoological facility, that species still exists, and so you can still breed it and reintroduce it. However, if there are no living, specimens, if there are no living individuals, you start getting into like kind of genetics of the extinction, and that has not necessarily been successfully completed. It's been tried, and I think people are kind of in the process of doing that with the passenger pigeon, actually, and it's kind of like introducing passenger pigeon DNA into like common pigeon DNA that is a very much extant, alive species.
Yeah, we had Ben Novak on the podcast.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Passenger pigeons.
Yeah, so that that's like a possibility that's kind of being developed. No one has definitely no one has tried that for the dusky seaside sparrow, but if the technology and the methods exist that prove to be successful, like that could be a possibility for that subspecies.
That was a cool question, Dom. Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that particular species, so cool stuff. It's kind of a fun question. We'll do a couple more. Zig asked, what are some of the most unforgettable moments, good and bad, that have happened in the field?
Here's the thing. I'm like trying to figure out how to say this. So, okay. All right. The worst thing that ever happened to me out there was, here, I'll tell you this one. The other one is really not even appropriate. I'll tell you this one, because this one was horrific.
Okay.
So I was out there, right? And I was looking for this. I knew there was a nest nearby because I heard all this chipping. Like I told you that, like, when you're near a nest, the parents start, like, making all these loud sounds. Okay. That's your cue that you're near a nest, right? So I heard this chipping, right? And I'm thankfully where I am in the marsh, there's not like a lot of insects. Surprisingly, like the bugs it's just too hot for the bugs. So nobody bothers me out there.
That's nice.
This particular day, I'm trying to find this nest because I need data. Like I need nests, right? So if I think there's a nest around, I want to keep looking until I find it. I'm out there running back and forth. There's this thunderstorm that I can physically see coming to me, and you're supposed to get out of the marsh. There's thunderstorms, like you can get hit by lightning.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta find this nest. So I'm running around. All of a sudden, all these like massive, I don't even know what species, like they're flies, but they're huge. And when they bite you, it feels like you're getting poked with like a needle, like at the doctor.
Oh my gosh.
Like, right? And I'm like, what on your body makes me feel like that? I don't even understand, right? They start swarming me. I start actually losing my mind. And I'm like, the Seaside Sparrows hired the flies to start getting me away from the nest, and I can't find. And I started like, I started cussing at the Seaside. Good thing Seaside Sparrows can't understand English, right? I started cussing them out. I was like, how dare you? I'm not even trying to save y'all. I had gotten so delirious. I was hot. I was thirsty. I was getting bitten up, and I was just trying to find this nest.
Oh my gosh.
It was a low point. It was a low point. That was the worst thing that ever happened to me in the marsh. But the most unforgettable thing that ever happened to me was actually the first time I found a Seaside Sparrow nest. And every time I find one, it feels like a miracle. But I was like walking, through the grass, heard the chipping, started looking, and I just like happened upon this nest with hatchlings in it. Like they were brand new, like totally bald, eyes closed, you know what I mean? And I'm like, how is something so vulnerable alive in this environment? Because I'm barely alive. It takes me like constantly taking fluids and constantly like checking my body for vital signs to just like exist in the marsh. And these like fragile beings are out here thriving. Yeah. And I was just like stunned to silence. Like I was like, I knew that I know I'm looking at Seaside Sparrows out here. I'm not shocked. It's not surprised that they're here, but it's like when you see it, it feels like a miracle. So that was the most memorable experience, was the first nest that I found.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That was a really good question. Thank you. I love field stories. We've gotten some cool field stories on here. Danny, thank you for the $18.52. And Stanners with the $10. Danny tipped a question, said, favorite silly bird fact. I don't know.
Silly bird fact.
I'm
okay,
not
okay.
I don't have one off the top of my head either. That makes you feel any better.
Like there's images, there's things that birds do that look funny, but it's like until you see it, it's like, okay, so there's this bird called a jacana, and they are birds that live in like wetlands and like where there are lots of lily pads, and they kind of have these extremely long, like
we watched a video of these. Guys, these are the ones with the crazy feet. Wait.
Yes!
These ones.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so when the chicks are young, I believe it's a jacana, they hold their chicks like in their wings, kind of, but the legs are hanging out, right? So it looks like the bird has like 18 legs.
Yeah, I have a picture up here of that. It looks so crazy.
It's hilarious. Like, to me, that just is the funniest thing I've ever seen in the bird world.
Oh my gosh. So cool. Do you guys remember watching this video the other day? We watched it on stream. Viewey just tipped $50. Viewey, thank you so much. You're insane. Let's do like a couple more questions. There aren't very many more, so actually we may get through all of these. Mordo asked, have you ever worked outside the US, and are there any particular species not native to the US that you would like to see or work with?
Yeah. So I have actually never worked outside of the U.S. ever, which is like breaks my heart, but that just means there's more to explore, right? And I'm really excited about it. The one species that I really want to see in the wild is the harpy eagle.
Oh my gosh, I
to...
can't believe you said that. That's my favorite bird of prey. Kim,
really?
Thank you for the $20. Yeah, I went to Belize recently, and I was like, the whole time I was there, I was like, if I see a harpy eagle, like I'm gonna drop dead. Like I can't, because there's some of them out there, but I didn't see one. But that would be insane.
And it's like I've heard that they're really hard to find because they like exist so high in the canopy, and it's like they, you know what I mean, hard to detect. But like that would be one bird. They're like, if you haven't, they're massive eagles. Like have really like beautiful and strange kind of feather patterns and coloration and feather structures, and like they hunt really large animals like monkeys and sloths, and their talons, their feet are just.
They take monstrous. Monkeys, you guys. Here, wait, I'll pull up the picture. Knight tipped $5 to get us over our $800 goal, so we're at $804. Thank you, Knight, and thank you, Gim, for the 20 to get us there as well. Guys, these are the harpy eagles. Look at this thing. It's a monster. Oh, they're huge.
And when they look at you, like at a certain angle, it kind of looks like a face a little bit.
It does look like a person. Look at them. There's one at the San Diego Zoo, and I sat there for like 2 hours just staring at it. They're so cool. Yeah, imagine seeing one of these in the wild, you guys. It's nuts. They're so cool. Okay, so 2 more questions here. Guy asked, how much do Seaside Sparrows weigh?
Good question. So Seaside Sparrow weighs approximately, like, I want to say around, give me a second, like 60, 70 grams.
Okay.
Approximately, like, I don't know, I don't remember the exact number off my head. I'm kind of like estimating based on like what I felt when I hold them. About 70 grams, I would guess.
Nice. That's actually bigger than I thought.
Yeah, they're like fairly large sparrows.
Nice. Okay, and then the last question. Oh, okay. There are 2 more questions. I'm sorry, I lied.
No problem.
One question. Street asked, how much anti-science stuff do the Skype of scientists have to deal with, like anti-vaxxers and flat earthers and stuff like that? Is that something that you guys struggle with?
So far, when it comes to like, so, you know, when you have like a group or maybe even a live stream session and you have a scientist on, there hasn't been like hostility. Like, I think people have asked questions about those topics, but no one has been like hostile in any way or pushy in any way. I've never witnessed, or I'm not aware of any time when there's been some sort of like argument over the validity of science. I'm a scientist, thankfully, and I think that speaks to how well the scientists communicate. I think that it could be easy to get inflamed in those conversations if the scientist speaking was not good at communication or like was not good at reading people, but we have not had that experience.
Okay.
As far as I know. So
good. That's good to hear. All right. Yeah. And then last question is a good one from Zignav said, if you could bring back any species, which one would you choose?
Ooh.
That's a really hard question.
I would have to say the giant ground sloth. Now, they would have nowhere to live because their ecosystem doesn't exist anymore. And that's more selfish. And I kind of actually feel bad about saying that. I should have picked like went extinct because humans wiped them out or something. But I'm just like really curious about
these exactly are crazy.
Like
I've never seen these.
They like poop, you know, like they would like eat, as far as I understand, like eat avocados and like poop out the seeds, and like they would kind of be seed dispersers for avocados. And like they're just like strange creatures, and I just really want to see one.
They're huge. Oh my gosh. Yeah. How cool is that?
That's kind of what maybe actually the better answer would be I would go back. That might be the better thing to say.
What was that? You cut out. You would go back and what?
Oh, sorry. I would like maybe go back in time to see the giant ground sloth.
Okay. That's a very responsible answer. Yeah, no, that's a good question. Next week we're talking about dinosaurs. Maybe I'll ask him about these. That should be pretty cool.
Nice, yes.
Yeah, I've never seen these before. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for all of those questions. That was brilliant. We're at $804 in donations. Thank you for the 13 months. Leak next week's guest. Much. I thought I already told you guys what next week's guest was. Did I just leak that? I didn't mean to. Okay, whatever. Yeah, so $804 in donations. You can do command org if you want to see where those donations are going, or where they did go actually, because their PayPal's hooked up, so it's already with them. But Skype a Scientist. Thank you so much for this conversation. This was so great.
This was so much fun.
Yeah, good stories and good questions from chat. We have what is it? 1,400 people hanging out right now. Thank you so much. Jug with $96 to get us to the $900 goal. Insane. Jug, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
I literally cannot wait to like run back to the Skype of Scientists like group chat and be like, yes, what these amazing people did.
Yeah, that's amazing. Guys, thank you. Jug, thank you for the Twitch Prime also. Yeah, so thank you for talking to us. Guys, thank you for listening. Again, I say it pretty much every podcast, even if you aren't able to donate, which is totally fine. You watching and learning means a lot as well. Chomp with $100? What? Chomp just tipped $100? So we're at $1,000.53. Chomp, thank you so much. Oh my gosh. That's insane.
Maya.
Corina. Oh, you guys are nuts. AJ with the $5 said, some of the most amazing content on Twitch. Keep it up. Thank you. I don't know how much you know about Twitch. It's traditionally a streaming platform for video games and stuff like that. There's like very little conservation going on Twitch, but I always say at the end of the podcast that it's like an untapped reservoir for doing good. That it's good for conservation education. So
you man, apparently I never heard of Twitch before you told me about it, but now, man.
Yeah, she was in DMs because I had her download Discord. She was like, I feel like a boomer, and I was like, you have no idea. I've had some guests that have been really, really challenging with technology. Pete, thank you for the $5.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Is there anything else that you want to talk about before we close up here? Because we're reaching our closing time for.
Okay. Well, I just want to encourage you all I've been thinking about this idea of accountability, like become accountable to the space where you live, and that really just looks like you learning about it, getting to know it, and therefore being more aware of how you impact it. And I think that like when people just take the time to explore and to become intimate with the space around them and know what's going on, we will have a much better quality of life because nature gives life to us. You know what I mean? Just exploring makes us happy and it's fulfilling. But it also allows us to be more conscious of how we use our earth. So that's my encouragement to you. And start looking at birds. You will not be disappointed.
Absolutely. I love that. We all have a great appreciation for birds here. We talk about birds a lot. So that's awesome. Cool. Thank you so much for coming on today. I'm glad that we finally made it happen. It's been a long time coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. And thank you guys all for watching. I appreciate it. I'll be in touch with you soon, and I'll be in touch with Skype Scientists soon as well. We finished at $1,010.53. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Amazing. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye.
This is what I was saying before. Remember how this past week I was like, I know it's not a species-specific podcast, but I just really want to have her on. Do you guys know now why I wanted to have her on so bad? Her enthusiasm, like, it's so infectious. She just, like, makes me happy. She's wonderful, dude. She's absolutely wonderful. Just the best energy. So thank you guys for the donations today. I'm not gonna lie. This cause is brilliant. Providing access to education like this is a brilliant idea, and it's so important. And so cool to connect people like this. But I honestly was a little bit worried about fundraising for this cause because it's not species specific. I find that it's usually easier to rally behind like something, but I'm so glad that you guys understood the importance of it and that you guys contributed to it so much. AJ, thank you for the 2 months people pod. it means a lot that you guys thank you, Chuck. It means a lot that you guys contributed to this donation goal, and I'm really happy. I love talking to people like that, dude. It makes me feel so good about the field, you know, like as a whole. She's so enthusiastic. She just cares so much. It's awesome. Gamer, thank you for the 3 months. I appreciate that. Is this on the test? Okay. When you read out the answers, read them in random order. Thank you, Chuck, for the reminder, because I've messed that up every podcast thus far. I need one more. Hang on. Okay. I wrote 5 questions. Chuck helped me with a couple question ideas. But I wrote the questions during the podcast. Gamer with the 5 tier 1s. Thank you. So we have questions. I just need to put them into the quiz, okay? Everybody, hearts in chat for Chuck for stepping in to help me out today, because we don't have the bot set up yet, but we're going to have it set up next week. Chuck, I really, really appreciate your help here. It makes it a lot easier for me. It would have stressed me out thoroughly to have to keep up with ats for myself in the chat. None of your business with $5 said, I really love this podcast and I learned so much. I have so much more respect for you and the people in conservation field. People Pog. Thank you so much. That's so nice. Thank you. So Chuck, thank you. Will, thank you for the beautiful start screen as always. Thank you to my team for being awesome. And let's get into making the quiz and let's see if I can do it in the time that it takes for this music to happen. Hang on. Let me give myself a little bit more of a chance. Let me open the quiz first. A game of drones. Thank you for the 2 months. All right, hold on. Da-da-da-da-da-da. All right, are you ready? Here we go. I'll be back by the end of this song this time. Hold. With so much time. With so much time left. With so much time. Are you guys ready? Hi, we're back. Early. The 112. Insane. Insane. Amazing. Okay, here we go. The quiz. To participate in the quiz, you have to grant access on your PC or on mobile. You have to select... I always say this wrong, or I always feel like I say it wrong. You have to click... Is it allow access? Is that what the wording is for it? You have to click manage access, allow access, so that I can see your name, because if you don't do that, then I will see like contestant number, blah, 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 and then you can't win the quiz. So don't do that. Click manage access so I know your name. Or grant access so I know your name. Ready? Here we go. 20 seconds per question, 5 questions. If you win, you get a gifted sub to my channel. If you're already gifted a sub to my channel, then you can either get a gifted sub to whoever's channel you want, or I will donate an additional $5 to Skype a Scientist. Here we go. First question. Is it working? Is it set? It says sending to players. Yes, it's working. Start game. Okay, where did Corina grow up? Did she grow up in Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, or Atlanta? that was longer than 20 seconds. Easy. Okay, it looks like some of you thought that was easy. Some of these questions are easier, some of them are harder. 3, 2, 1. The correct answer is Philadelphia. The quiz is graded, or you get points based on how fast. It's 30 seconds, because it starts at 30. Okay, it's a 30 second. You have 30 seconds to answer the quiz. That's too long, but whatever. You get points based on how correct you are and how fast you answer the question. So 194 people got Philadelphia correct, but who got it correct the fastest? Congratulations. Next question. What is Corina's favorite bird of prey? Is it the ferruginous hawk? Is it the peregrine falcon? Is it the red-tailed hawk or the Harris hawk? Pepe meltdown. I forgot. Oh no. Alex is going for last place. That's huge. Congratulations. The correct answer is Harris hawks, the wolves of the sky. Called the wolves of the sky because they hunt in packs, which is super unique for birds of prey. They're really cool. 114 people. Ooh, a lot of people. More people thought it was peregrine falcon. We did talk about peregrine falcons. When we talked about peregrine falcons, though, we were talking about their adaptation. Not because it was her favorite bird of prey, but that was kind of a hard question. Low Luck got that correct, and so far Low Luck is in the lead with 59,670 points. Amazing. Next question. That wasn't rigging the quiz. Connor, thank you for the tier 1. What is a major threat that seaside sparrows face? Is it plastic entanglement? Is it invasive predatory species? Is it mean dogs that want to eat them? Or is it sea level rise that causes nest flooding? LX got it right, which is bad news because he's going for last place. 3, 2, 1. The correct answer is sea level rise that causes nest flooding. And as sea level rises, they have to have their nests further up in the grass, which means that it's more visible to more predators, which is really, really sad. The correct answer is sea level rise. 183 people got it correct, but who got it correct the fastest? Chat, who was it? Me Smile. It was actually Dan! Dan said me smile, and it was actually Dan. Congratulations, Dan. You were correct. That's the first real me smile I think I've ever seen. Low Luck is still in the lead, though, with 89K. Holy, wow, Low Luck. You're like actually way ahead. And then Protech. Insane. Okay, 2 more questions. How much do Seaside Sparrows weigh? Do they weigh 40 to 50 grams? Do they weigh 60 to 70 grams? Do they weigh 100 grams or 20 to 30? I see lots of easy claps. And then Danny. It's a sea of easy claps and Danny somewhere in between there. PP overheating. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The correct answer is 60 to 70 grams is how much a Seaside Sparrow weighs approximately. Who got that one correct? A lot of people. Me Smile. Well done. And the person who got it correct the fastest this round was contestant number 258. Please enable manage access so that I know what your name is. you gotta enable access so that I know who you are. Protech is now in the lead. He surpassed Whoa, Protech, huge. Last question. This is it, boys. Who's gonna win it? The last question is, what is the Seaside Sparrow's primary competitor? Is it a blue jay? Is it a Carolina chickadee? Is it the marsh wren? Or is it the giant ground sloth? Tales of Valor thinks it's giant ground sloth. Ms. Kiff thinks it's sloth. That comes to no surprise to me. Both because that makes no sense and because they've been extinct a really long time. The correct answer is the marsh wren. It's the chickadee. It's the chickadee. Because isn't that like a vine or something? Like the Pikachu one? It's Pikachu. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The marsh wren is the correct answer. Who won that round? Actually, who won the entire thing? Bernie Forever came out of nowhere and killed the competition with 143,000 points, almost 144,000 points. But this last round, contestant number 1259 won. So congratulations for getting it the most right, the fastest. But it doesn't matter because Bernie Forever won. Bernie, you already subbed. Would you like another sub? Or would you like for me to donate an additional $5? Nim sub, please. Oh, okay. I'm going to gift Bernie a sub to Nim. I saw Nim talking to Hachubby today. It was very nice. Gift a sub. It's my 10-month sub anniversary for Nim, actually. Interesting. Is it just Bernie Forever? Are there no hyphens or whatever? Or any symbols? Just Bernie Forever. Cool. All right. Gifting to Bernie. For Nim. Complete purchase. Congratulations, Bernie! You've won a Nim sub! How come no one ever asked for a Lamont sub? Well done, Bernie. Amazing. So fast. Very Very cool, very cool, very cool. Thank you guys for participating in the quiz. That was good. It actually wasn't so bad writing them up while I was doing it. That was good stuff. That was a good stream. I know I'm gonna do the bounty. That was a good podcast. I liked it. Oh, thank you, Connor. Connor! Wait. Look what I got. I'm not gonna lie, it came in a big box with a bunch of packaging peanuts and it kind of looked like a bomb, but it's not a bomb. It's telemetry. It took a really long time to get here because I put in the wrong zip code. But it's here. Look, I don't know how to use any of it yet, but I'm gonna figure it out. Wait. Look. Telemetry. I just have to figure out how to mount it on Mulan. The app is amazing. You'll have fun. I'm so excited. I'm gonna put it on Miz and just have him like walk around the block to test it. I didn't tell him that yet though. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I don't know what any of this does, dude. I actually don't know what any of this does. I need to do some reading. We've played hide and seek with it before. That's actually sick. That's actually sick. That's a good IRL. We actually strap it to Miz or somebody and have him just go off in the woods and we have to track him and find him somewhere. That's a pretty decent stream idea, like, unironically. Cool, well, my telemetry's here. You gave me a stream idea, we're gonna do that? Yeah, go for it, dude. It wasn't, I didn't give you the idea, you gave me the idea. Alright. Speaking of good stream ideas, this is not something that I usually do, but it's something that I'm doing today, because I'm moving and I don't want it to expire. So we'll call it, and I just got 2 more bounties out of nowhere. Okay. We'll call it an unofficial podcast sponsor. But today we're gonna watch a really quick trailer. It's gonna be painless. I'm not gonna play a game. We're just gonna watch a trailer, okay? It'll be super quick, super painless. Guys, I appreciate you being here. Please continue to hang out. It's not the Jonas Brothers. Here it is. Hold on. It's the Upload Season 1 trailer. Here it is. Boys.
Settling in okay?
Yeah. Are you both,
Dead?
Yeah.
Wait.
Yep.
Oh. I thought this was an ad. Because it's the ad. Sorry.
Settling in okay?
Yeah. Are you both,
Dead?
Yeah.
Yep.
Welcome to Lakeview, a digital afterlife environment. Enjoy.
The ads know us better than we know ourselves.
10 signs you're invading someone's personal space.
Sorry, bro.
Oh, someone needs
You were in a
that.
bad place yesterday. It's only weird if you make it weird.
All right. Good stuff.
Settling in okay?
Yeah.
I actually thought that was Upload takes place in the near future where people who are near death can be uploaded into a digital afterlife of their choice. That's actually a sick concept. Upload is a new sci-fi comedy series from Greg Daniels, the guy who brought you Parks and Rec and The Office. Oh, that means it's actually going to be good. Fun fact, Greg Daniels developed the series concept 30 plus years ago during his days as a staff writer on SNL. All 10 episodes of Upload are available to stream on Prime Video now. That's actually huge. He came up with it 30 plus years ago and it's just coming into fruition. That's sick. Go watch the show. It'll be good. He made Parks and Rec Parks and Rec and The Office, so it's actually going to be good. Thank you for participating in the bounty. The bounty's now over. The podcast is almost over. XAXA with $5 said, oh, that scared me. XAXA with another $5 and said, Cutie Jelly with 20 gifted subs. Jelly, thank you for the 20 gifted subs. Guys, the sub count is so good lately. Thank you so much. Sorry, XAXA with $5 said, it's thank you. What? No, it's not. You made a new account? Okay. XAXA with $5 said, hi Maya, I found this interesting video about traditional eagle hunters in Mongolia, and it would mean so much if you would react to it, because I'm from Mongolia. Here's the link. Depending on how long it is. Oh, this is... I think we've watched this video on stream before. It's the GoPro one of eagle hunters in the New World. I think this is one that we'll add to our... we'll add this to our watch later playlist, because we have a bunch of nature documentaries and stuff like that to watch on stream. So come back, and I'll watch it, because we have like a whole list. So thank you guys. Thank you for the subs today. A lot of subs today. Thank you for the insane amount of donations. Thank you again to Chuck for helping me with the questions today. You guys want me to host E-Rob? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll host E-Rob. Sure. Or I'll raid E-Rob. Fantastic guest. Our guests are always great, but Corina's energy is so infectious and so wonderful. So it was really, really nice to talk to her. Twitch is, as always, an untapped reservoir for doing good. Skype a Scientist is going to be so happy about that donation. So thank you guys for contributing to that. And thank you for watching. This is the last stream in California, you guys. I'm moving tomorrow, which is insane. Mentos with 20! Mentos with 20 gifted subs, hello? What the heck? Mentos, thank you for the 20 gifted subs. You guys are insane today. Thank you so much. When is the next stream? So, I think that the next stream will be Wednesday, because it's gonna take several days to drive there, and Monday I'll still be driving. So I don't think that I can stream on Monday. I'll let you know if I can maybe do an IRL. But if I can't, then I'll see you guys on Wednesday. It's a 27-hour drive, but I'm pulling truck and trailer, so it'll be longer than that. I'm doing it over like 3 days or something. So, yeah, because I gotta go like 60 miles an hour. So it's gonna be a long drive. So I'm not sure if I can stream Monday. If I can, I'll let you know. Yeah, look forward to the YouTube video for sure. I'm gonna record it. I asked my sister yesterday if she would be a camera woman for me. I don't know how to say her name, dude. Kiers. Kars. Well, it was 15. I thought it was 5. Oh, I'm dumb. Thank you for the 15 gifted subs, dude. What on earth? Thank you so much. Holy crap. And thank you for the tier 1. That's amazing. If I can do an IRL on Monday, I'll let you guys know via Discord and Twitter. If I can't, I'll probably still let you know via Discord or Twitter. So be aware of that. But my sister's going to be my camera woman, and I'm going to film for YouTube of the road trip, of the moving. So wish me luck. I'm moving to Texas tomorrow, which is insane. Thank you guys for watching the podcast. I love the podcast. I'm glad that we're ending it on this note, because this is big full circle moment like the most important thing that I've done on my channel. And it all obviously started in California and whatever, and I'm glad that it's wrapping up here. It feels good. So we're gearing up the raid here. Ruined. Hey.
Okay. Are you ready to move to Texas? Come here.
Bye, guys. Cutie with 20 gifted subs. What the heck? I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Probably. Maybe Monday. Bye. I love you guys. Thank you.